Dzień dobry, witajcie. Mamy
As
tu
we're currently
Mobiego.
waiting for the 70th episode to get released, where G-Man is most likely to appear soon, I'd
Tak,
like to review him as the
pojawi
whole
się G-Man.
character, because this guy has definitely had his ups and downs lately. Is G-Man still going to be one of the most important figures for Skibidi Army?
Wydaje mi się, że G-Man już tak nie będzie takim mega ważnym ogniwem armii Skibidi Toilet. Zauważcie, że w pierwszych odcinkach ten G-Man, on był taki mocarny, koks i tak dalej, niczego się nie bał, a potem tak trochę zdziadział, tak troszkę można powiedzieć.
Or is someone else about to take the reins? Where is human G-Man now? And does the original G-Man exist in the first place or not? I'm going to answer all these questions and tell you even more in this video.
Okej, ciekawy odcinek o G-Manie.
So grab your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch it to the end.
Dobra, wy też musicie być
Because it'll
gotowi.
be awesome. Let's go!
Let's go.
Considering that G-Man is one of the most complicated characters in the whole series, I'm going to part this video into
Czy G-Man jest najbardziej skomplikowaną postacią? Wydaje mi się, że nie. Myślę, że w 70. odcinku będzie naukowiec i UFO. No... Jesteśmy coraz bliżej naukowca. Czy on się w 70. pojawi? Może w którejś z części.
so it would be easier for you to follow my thoughts. Today, I'm going to tell you the whole story of his character, remind you of his best highlights, and predict what will about to happen to him in the next episode.
O, ludzki G-Man. No parę razy się pojawił w tych shortach. Myślisz, że w tym roku powstanie... Czy myślisz, że w tym roku powstanie jakaś seria, która przebije Skibidi Toilet? Wątpię. Cześć picie. Chociaż, no... Będę na to gotowy. Boom ma dwa kanały, miał jakiś jeden ukryty, no.
Dafuk created G-Man as a reference to the character with the same name from Half-Life series, using the same face and body models.
No, to gościu jest z Half-Life'a, to wiemy, nie?
It all was intended to be a joke
Siema
in the
wszystkim,
beginning.
siema. Cześć Cyberknife, cześć Pete. Co u mnie? A wszystko dobrze.
But as the series progressed, the connections with G-Man from Half-Life became more important and relevant to Skibidi Universe's lore. But I'll tell you about it with more detail a bit later. We could see the human G-Man in the very first episode of Skibidi series, although it lasted just for a split
To
second.
taki mini G-Man w ogóle. Ciekawe w ogóle, jak się pojawił G-Man, to wiecie, była postać G-Mana, a ten Gordon Freeman też będzie? Ciekawe.
It appeared in episode 2 alongside with Gordon Freeman.
A, tylko że G-Man tu wygląda jako Skibidi, a Gordon Freeman jest normalny.
Another funny
Ciekawe.
reference without any extra weight.
Nie?
Then in
Cześć
episode 3
niepoznany,
we can
siema.
see him getting crushed by the big toilet
Dzisiaj była
as he was in
gołoleć?
his way. Despite that, we could see him again in episodes 4, 5 and 6.
No.
And now his model looked less goofy, as if it was another person. His appearance in episode 4 was the most suspicious of all. He looked quite concentrated. And it seemed like he was connected with this whole Skibidi invasion event. At the start of this series, it was too early for us to make any serious assumptions about him, but now I can see the logic of his future character. So, there's one significant detail about Half-Life G-Man.
Ciekawe
It was
jaki.
stated in the lore of those games that he's able to clone himself and be present in multiple places all at once. That explains human G-Man's...
Aha, okej. G-Man się może klonować. Ciekawe. A myślisz, czy będzie... Czy ja zdobędę 100 000 subów? Nie wiem, zobaczymy.
Because he had different clones in the beginning of the series already.
No windą w
The
dół
role
jedziemy
that
na
human
pewno.
G-Man played for the
Cześć,
plot of Skibidi Universe still
Siema.
remains to be a bit unclear. It seems to me that
Sekretne sceny z 69 odcinka,
the
pamiętam,
human
tak.
version of G-Man was more decorative and added for fun.
Half-Life będzie
Because we know
prześladował.
that the actual lore started from episode 7. And episode 7 was that exact episode when the
Siema.
original G-Toilet appeared for the first time, which is no coincidence. But I still think that the human G-Man had already given us the first hints about his ability to create clones, and I will tell you everything about it. But before
No ale co, G-Man sam z siebie potrafi się klonować? Wątpię. To raczej naukowcy sklonowali G-Mana.
that, let me discuss another important thing. The original G-Toilet from episode 7. With episode 7, we get our first actual interaction with Skibidi toilets, and also take a glimpse at the epic emergence of the
A czy na początku te Skibidi Toilet nie były czasem takie, wiecie, nieagresywne?
original G-Toilet that comes out from an explosion full of fury. For now, the only thing that distinguishes him from the ordinary Skibidi toilets in his size. Although
Siema,
G-Man
siema.
was not the first big toilet we saw in the series. Remember this guy from episode 3, which was the one who crushed the human G-Man, by the way? Or take a look on those Skibidi in episode 4.
A to jest pierwszy Skibidi, on mi się kojarzy z tą serią Skibidi Friend.
We have the ordinary Skibidi,
Cześć
a
Adaś,
large
siema.
one and a bunch of tiny
Cześć, jak sprawy z YouTube?
ones,
Jakie sprawy?
which gives me an idea that Skibidi can be different in sizes. And remember this size talk, guys,
Czy zagram w Angry Birds Transformers?
because we will be back
Można
to it a little
spróbować. Na pewno grałem kiedyś na kanale Broad TV.
bit later. Next time
Nie wiem, Bartek, bo go nie widzę.
we see the earlier version of G-Toilet in episode 12. And this time he's equipped with the lasers that he's able to shoot from his eyes. Due to this ability and his size, he could have been considered
O kurde, Elita 5 zł. Dziękuję dla ciebie. Piąteczka. Kłaniam się nisko. Dzięki za dofinansowanie. Dzięki wielkie.
the most dangerous Skibidi toilet in the earlier
A no,
seasons.
nie jest
And
źle,
no one could be
Adasiu.
a fair opponent to him. Another remarkable thing about him was the impossibility to flush him as the other Skibidi toilets, even the big ones. That made him stood out even more. And that's where the talk about him being some sort of military leader for Skibidi army started from. It was later confirmed by episode 17, when G-Man was obviously in the position of authority for other Skibidi surrounding
No,
him.
G-Man to
This
lider,
episode
nie?
also shows how incredibly robust he is, as
Pete, u
G-Man
mnie
was
tak
able to
samo.
survive the powerful beam's exposition without even taking a
No,
slightest
w początkowych odcinkach Skibidi Toilet G-Man to był taki kozak, a potem
of
tak,
damage.
taki
There's one interesting detail about the
osłabnął
flushing, though.
i był taki
In episode
strachliwy.
22, it seemed like when he was tried to be forcefully flushed, he resisted it with great force, and that's why he turned out to be okay. And compare this with the
Elita, kolejne 5 zł? Jezus, dzięki, piątka dla ciebie. Widzę, że jesteś jakimś bogaczem tutaj.
scene where
Dziękuję.
Titan Speakerman tried to flush G-Man in episode 65. It simply didn't work. So, I think his non-flushable characteristics had been severely upgraded.
No właśnie,
But the
to, że on był
reputation of
odporny na
G-Man being the
spłukanie, G-Man,
unbeatable enemy
to jest
for
ciekawe.
everyone has changed with episode 20, where he encountered with Titan Cameraman for the first time. Now it was the battle between two gigantic creatures, and I think it was the first time for G-Man in the series when he felt the actual threat for his well-being. Despite the fact that Titan Cameraman's core was damaged in the process, and he had to leave the fight in the middle, we still saw his ability to counter G-Man's lasers with his shield and his great physical strength. After episode 22, we didn't see the original G-Toilet for a while, but everything changes with the parasite infection of Titan Speakerman in episode 32. Since episode 33, G-Man
Elita, znowu 5 zł? Jezu, co ci się dzieje? Dziękuję, uspokój się już. Dzięki za 5 zł, piątka. Smacznego. Zamierzasz jeszcze powrócić do podcastów? Myślę, że tak.
with his new ally on the regular basis, and I have certain thoughts on this matter.
Tomasz Mazurek, 10 zł. Jezu, co tu się dzieje? Ludzie, uspokójcie się. Okej, let's celebrate their first support on live. Dzięki, Tomasz Mazurek, to pierwsze twoje wsparcie. Piąteczka. Kłaniam się nisko, dziękuję bardzo.
I think that with the emergence of
Wszystkiego
Titan
najlepszego,
Cameraman
Kruk.
as the first powerful ally that the Alliance got, G-Man, who was playing a role of a Skibidi military leader, realized that he needed the future upgrades as well. Not only that,
No,
I think
G-Man
he also
potem
got
się
an idea of
upgrade'ował,
empowering
to trzeba
Skibidi army
przyznać.
forces as well. So
Cześć,
his
Tomek,
character
dziękuję.
played quite an important role for the war aspect of the series. And besides this, the most important thing happened. Having learned that the Alliance's soldiers got to be more dangerous and powerful in battle, the original G-Man started leaning more into the shadows. And I'm pretty much sure that
No, po tym jak, w ogóle, po tym jak Tytan Głośnik został zainfekowany, to, słuchajcie, G-Man tak spoczął na laurach. On nie był upgrade'owany, nie był ulepszany. Cześć wszystkim, cześć, witajcie. I przez to musieli go szybko ulepszać, nie? On się strasznie tu wystraszył, bo jakby Tytan Głośnik został odinfekowany, to by miał przerąbane tutaj, nie? Siema, pamiętam ciebie, jak nagrywałeś Plants vs. Zombie 2, piękne czasy, no.
episode
Piękne.
35 was the last time we saw him, and not his clones, because he still had his old toilet tank there, and no changes could be noticed on his face. I have an idea that the original G-Man saw the potential of the anti-parasite cannon that was saved from the Alliance's lab, and two outcomes happened due to this. Firstly, G-Man realized that the infected Titan Speakerman needed some kind of backup in case this cannon would be developed.
A czemu G-Man? Myślę, że to bardziej naukowiec tutaj odpowiada za całe kombinowanie i za inne rzeczy. Zamierzasz powrócić jeszcze do Angry Birds Go czy innej EB? No, myślę, że tak, jak najbardziej. Dziękuję, bardzo mi miło.
G-Man started thinking of an idea of using different clones at this point to protect him. And secondly, the clone thing was the best way to secure the...
Od tego momentu klonował się? Od zarażenia tego tytana głośnika? Ciekawa teoria. Widziałem przeciek i już nagrałem odcinek o multiversie. No horrory wrócą. Będzie się działo.
So, in episode 38, we see the first certified clone that I will be referring to as G-Man.
Myślicie, że to był klon G-Mana tutaj? Ciekawe. Kiedy odcinek z Pet Sim? Nie. Nie będzie na razie.
38, because I'll discuss multiple G clones in this video, and it would be easier to mark them so you wouldn't get too confused. So, in this episode, G-Man appears by protecting the infected Titan Speakerman from the
Zakochanego kameramena. Chciałbym, żeby się pojawił, no. Dzięki, Krug. Mam nadzieję, że się kiedyś uda.
Which immediately proves that he's the clone and not the original guy.
Cześć, Smrodoka.
Because the actual G-Man wouldn't be so bold risking his life.
Tomasz Mazurek, piąteczka kolejna. Dzięki, ale mnie dzisiaj wspieracie. Bardzo mi miło, bo to wiele dla mnie znaczy. Dzięki temu jakby mogę z całą siłą i umysłem skoncentrować się na tworzeniu treści dla was. Także dziękuję za to wsparcie, doceniam. Wszystkiego dobrego. Jak macie urodziny, to wszystkiego najlepszego.
He is now able to fly using the jetpacks. He has thick armor plates on his chest and on the sides that allow him enduring tons of damage. And he's also got 2 laser guns in addition to his eye lasers.
Pozdrawiam serdecznie was. Siema, siema.
That proves that this G-toilet is a clone is his toilet tank. It seems like he
czyli on tu udowadnia, że to jest klon, to nie był prawdziwy G-Man.
Although before that he didn't have anything like this, which in reality is another toilet but turned upside down. And we already know by now that its purpose is to give room to hide the actual puppet master inside of the large G-clone's body. We could clearly see the process of pulling an actual Skibidi puppet master in...
No to jest ciekawe, że już dużo wcześniej były te klony. Kurka. Jakiegoś vloga? No dzisiaj nie wiem, zobaczymy. Czemu nieraz nagrywasz rzeczy nieodpowiednie na kanał? Mówią tu na przykład publikacji na kanał. Ten kanał jest o Skibidi.
65, for example. Combined with the power of the infected Titan Speakerman, the emergence of a greatly upgraded G-Man's clone couldn't be left unnoticed. Another powerful Confederate come to help the Alliance in order to balance the odds, and it was no other than TV Men's Race. So I can say that G-Man pushed the plot of the series further, and it didn't stop just here.
Okay, G-Man 47?
After TV Men's appearance, another Titan steps into the game in episode 41, and it's Titan TV Man, who remains to be the most dangerous enemy to the Skibidi army up to this day. And to encounter such an enemy, G-Man needed another clone made for the combat purposes specifically. So in episode 47, when Titan TV Man got led into the trap by the infected Titan Speakerman, he was approached by another G-clone, which I'll be calling G-Man 47. And if you guys think that it's the same G-clone from episode 38, you are in the wrong here. Because take a closer comparison look at those two guys.
Witajcie,
G-Man
witajcie.
38 is a clone which main purpose is to protect other significant allies of Skibidi army. That's why the main focus of his upgrades was on his protection chest and side plates and not his weapons.
Czyli to były klony, żeby bronić innych Skibidi Toilet.
Small and weak in comparison with the ones G-Man 47 has now. Besides that, G-Man 38
Prawdziwy G-Man jest pod ziemią w bunkrze? No tak.
G-Man 47 is much larger and more intimidating. Also, 2 of his laser guns are upgraded more, and he has a double toilet. So, G-Man 47 is a combative clone, and his main goal is to confront Titan TV Man.
Czyli to też był fake, słuchajcie, w 47.
But his current upgrades were still not enough to successfully do so. And he
Tak,
could have
wiem,
easily
picie,
gotten
że
fried
to
by
było
TV
tak.
Man's red glow if it wasn't
Wow,
for
dzięki,
Titan Speakerman
Smrodoka.
attacking him from the back. We can see how badly injured G-Man 47 was, and his eye lasers were probably out of use because of that glow influence. That's why in episode 49 we can see the same guy, but with the yellow protective sunglasses on.
Ej,
Apparently
czyli
he still
słuchajcie,
wasn't able
czyli to nie był jeden i ten sam, czy nawet dwa, tylko za każdym razem widzieliśmy innego G-Mana.
to use his eye lasers
Wow.
because his face was ruined so badly by Titan TV Man. In the second part of episode 57, we can see G-Man 47 once again, and this time he's being upgraded even further with protective earphones and more laser guns.
I to też była kopia.
In
Ciekawe.
episode 60, we see another G clone, which lots of people often confused with G-Man 47, although those are different guys as well. This guy looks suspiciously weaker in comparison with G-Man 47. He has 4 lasers, but it's just the imitation of powerful upgrades, because all 4 are quite small and weak, and wouldn't be able to pull this G clone off in the serious
Piesio,
battle.
potem będę patrzył.
Also, his toilet rim is visibly smaller, and this clone has laser eyes, unlike G-Man 47. But why would G-Man need such a weak clone, you can ask? The answer's simple. The Alliance didn't know that G-Man had different clones till episode 65, because Skibidi kept it in secret. Their goal was to lure the best Alliance's forces, which are our favorite trio of Titans.
Czyli słuchajcie, wychodzi na to, że w następnych odcinkach będziemy widzieć jeszcze więcej G-Manów.
The trap. And that's why clones was used one by one for different reasons. This
Wiesz, że na TikToku jest opcja wysyłania donate'ów z komentarzem, a chodzi ci o te takie te różyczki i to?
clone's purpose was to become a decoy for the Titans and to create an impression that he
Właśnie,
is an actual
Skibidi Invasion
G-Man
musimy
betrayed by his
obejrzeć
allies.
też.
So the Alliance would be misinformed. And the
O, Lucky SP, siema. Piąteczka, witaj w gromadzie. Początkujący łowca petów, musimy to zmienić. Początkujący Skibidi Toilet.
trick almost worked, because Titans were almost caught off guard by Kamikaze Skibidi, and the Alliance also expected another turn of events in the future since now. After
G-Man
episode
trio.
65, it wasn't necessary for Skibidi Army to keep a secret about G-Man's clones. So we met 3 of them at once in the 4th part of episode 67.
No dobra, tylko co daje to wysyłanie giftów?
All of them seem to be of a combative type of clones, but they are not particularly complicated in their design. They don't have double toilets, but the ordinary ones with the wide cistern. Besides, considering the amount of power upgraded Titan TV Man held in that episode, their lasers, rockets, and saws didn't help them much against them.
Dziękuję za
But it's
subskrypcję,
fine,
dzięki.
actually, because who's actually important here is the
Spix, widzę super łowca petów, piątka, dzięki wielkie ludziska. Muszę zmienić nazwę tego, bo to już nie jest Roblox. Dzięki,
the one who
ludziska.
left in panic at the start of Titan TV Man's arrival. This guy is the most interesting one among all G-Man clones. I told you before
Siema,
that there are
Spec.
different specific
Specs.
types of G-Man clones, but this guy seems to be an ace combining everything in one. He's got plenty of armor, but he's also literally stuffed with laser guns.
I
so
co,
it
to jest
wouldn't be a problem
prawdziwy
for him to
G-Man,
both
czy nie?
attack and get defensive. And there's my theory I have about this guy. In my analysis of episode 67, I said that this G-Man could probably be the original one based
Czyli to
on
jest
how
oryginał,
rapidly
nie?
fled the fight with the obviously dangerous enemy. But now, based on what I saw in the secret tablet scene added by Dafouk in the compilation video of both parts of episode
Czyli co, to nie
69,
będzie
I
oryginał?
have something else on my mind. In
No
that
nie
scene, I
gadajcie.
saw G-Man 67 being in the process of the possible upgrade for episode 70 when the final battle is about to occur between Skibidi
A,
and
czyli
the
go tam
Alliance
może
forces.
ulepszają,
And in the
o
background,
kurde.
I saw a small Skibidi toilet that was suspiciously highlighted just for a moment. And I thought, what if it was the actual original G-Man right there? Similar in looks to the original
Okay.
Skibidi scientist we saw
Ja
at
o
the
tym
end of
mówiłem,
episode
że może być
67,
wersja
which means that G-Man 67
mała
is another
G-Mana,
clone as
nie?
well, who's been either controlled by the original G-Man or by some random Skibidi. But the clone itself was so heavily upgraded that it would be foolish to get him destroyed by Titan TV Man. And now this clone is being prepared for one final encounter we're about to see really soon. Also, I am pretty
Astrotoalety
much
może
sure that
tak,
this
no.
clone may actually be G-Man 47 based on his ruined face and the glasses that he's wearing.
Czyli
This
nie,
time
czyli
they
w odcinku 47 to był prawdziwy G-Man,
are
tak?
black, though. And I think he intended to protect himself from Titan TV Man's painful glow this time with these. But still, whoever controlled him from the inside decided not to risk this costly clone at all, but to save it for the final battle and
A, czyli to też klon niby,
another
okej,
landscape.
czyli to nie jest
And as we
oryginał.
can see from the secret tablet scene added
Ciekawe.
by Dafouk, this clone is also being upgraded as well. And then one final question remains, and it's about the original G-Man size. Because if we'll take the idea that the original G-Man is as small as Skibidi Scientist, then how could I explain the size of the original G-Toilet in the beginning of the series? And I have a theory on this. It goes like this. What if the original G-Toilet was also a clone, one of the first one ever?
Czyli to też był klon? Jasny gwint, ej, same
And
klony
it's been controlled
według
by the
niego.
original
Dziękuję,
G-Man from the
pozdrawiam
inside.
Kacper.
That would explain the size issue. And also, what if G-Man possesses an ability to transplant himself from one clone to another, unlike the ordinary Skibidi that are being trained to control?
Okej, no to jest zagmatwane, co on tu wymyślił. Myślę, że to jest za bardzo utrudnia sobie to. Słuchajcie, moim zdaniem to trochę nie do końca mi pasuje. Gratulacje, Smrodo. Nie do końca się zgadzam z tym, co on tutaj nam pokazał, Mobi, no ale niech będzie, słuchajcie.